Yo, 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 everybody live coming at you. So yeah, sorry for being, what am I, 6 minutes late? 6 minutes late. Yeah, I was talking with the tribe art guru. So we've got a guru who is an artist and an art collector, and we've got a couple, and they're great aficionados. Anybody else that is one, feel free to contact me because I'd like a little advice and tutelage, if you will, on collecting fine art. I need to learn about it. And so, by the way, as we build the tribe, which we've already done very well, we will provide to the tribe members contacts of tribe, shall we say, advocates that can advise any of the tribe members um, in art, in cutlery, in photography or cameras, in motorcycles, in firearms, in fine art, in scuba diving, in skiing, in cycling, like everything. So, and even attorneys and doctors that are willing to give advice in limited fashion, I'm sure, to when it's professional stuff like that, to tribe members. And we've got contract law, we've got IP law, we've got family law, guys, the attorneys in each area. And these will all be part of the tribe. And you'll be able to, once they know your tribe, you're part of the tribe. You guys were it's I don't want to say it's a brotherhood because women are included as well, and non-binary, I guess, if someone doesn't want to claim a side. And yeah, so that'll be really cool resources for all of us. These are all resources that I have right through my contacts. And I figure, why don't I share it and turn it into a group where we share these things? And I share my contacts with you, and I share my art experts with you, and I share my legal counsel with you. And then they can use the network as well. If an artist or wants a lawyer, or if a lawyer wants a piece of art or whatever, you know what I mean. And we've got trusted tribe members that we count on for that kind of stuff. So it's awesome. It's really cool, man. You guys, it's coming right up. Smoke a lot, smoke a lot of potamus, smoke a lot of potamus. It's like, say that 5 times fast. What's up? Cheers. Smoke a lot of potamus. What's up, Mikey and tribe from Iowa? Andy, what's going on, man? Horse trainer extraordinaire. So he's our horse expert. Okay. So if we want to know about raising a foal or buying a foal, buying a yearling, selling a yearling, how to train for showing, Andy's our man. He is a horse expert in that regard. And he'd be happy to talk with tribe. I'm sure he would. Just like all of us are happy to talk about what we know about, man. Just like I do. I like to talk about what I know about hi-fi music. Really, it's not even hi-fi. It's making music environments. That's what I know about. Making rooms that you go in and you're in a killer music environment and it's just a great vibe. That's what I do. So I can tell people how to do that. And we've got all sorts of contacts. Oops. Hey tribe, what's up? Tommy is now, let me healthcare IT, right? Rev is Seattle check-in. Rev is one of our guitar gurus. So I consult with Revelry with Brent. I consult with Brent if I want a guitar and if I'm looking for something that is going to appreciate. If I'm looking for vintage, Gibson, Fender, things like that. He can tell me about all the other ones too. And I've got Jamie, part of the tribe. He's out on the East Coast. So we got West Coast guitar and East Coast guitar. And then Nick is in there somewhere. And Nick is also a guitar guy. So we've got these contacts that we can talk to. So if any of you all come across a guitar, and you're like, hey, I've got some, I don't know if this is worth anything. We've got people in the tribe that can help you value that, or, that could potentially buy it, so it's super cool. So Rev is, and he's also aerospace engineer. so we can consult with him on engineering questions. Donnie is an artist. No worries. Don made me late. It's all right, man. I decided to continue our conversation. Don and I were talking about fine art and collecting and different methods of printing and, what makes things valuable and all this kind of stuff. And so that was great. So anyways, tonight I don't really have a topic. Tonight we can talk about anything. I figured lately, the last couple of shows, I've had people on where I'm going off and we're talking about topics, certain topics. So instead of doing that, I thought we'd go a little easy tonight and just talk about what we feel like talking about, with really no topic, that we need to stick to or anything like that, or that we need to follow. So we can do that. Things have been going great here. Just, state of everything. Everything is great. Thanks again, everybody, for the biz. We will have a Fisher and Fisher 570 that is shipping from Germany in a couple days and going to Florida, South Florida. So we'll have something in Miami area 570s now. All this stuff for people to go by, and as this develops, and people will be vetted. It's not just strangers coming to people's houses. These are all going to be vetted, full tribe members. And then they can have access when they travel to the tribe network. Almost any town we go into, you would have people that if you want, you could meet up. So let's say you're traveling, for work or something, and you're by yourself and you're like, oh, I'm going to be lonely here for the next 4 days. There might be a tribe member in town, and we could give you contact, and then you go to hang out with somebody and have dinner, or go see a show, or listen to music, or anything really. It is really about building the network, and that has been going really good. Most of y'all probably got an email. We had a phenomenal response. We had to change our platform. So like on 11 Stereo, we had to change our forum, which we had, into a different thing that they were doing called groups. So when we moved everything, we had to migrate everything over. We had to re-ask people, hey, if you want to be on the forum, come in here and sign up to whichever thread you want to be on, and then we'll approve you. And we got an absolute onslaught of people responding to that. So it's proof, case in point, that our 7,000 strong tribe is activated and ready, and ready to party, ready to hang out, ready to build something, ready to change, to cause change. And I'm really excited about it, and I think it's clear that a lot of other people are as well. So that's good. What's up, tribe? What's up, Joey? Joey and I have been talking about watches. Now, this guy is your RC cars expert, okay, your surfing guy, and your wheel repair expert for car wheels. So if any of y'all have, like rare Ferrari rims or old Porsche roof rims, collectible rims, things that you want cleaned, dialed in, totally, specced out, perfect, Joe's your guy, and he's in California, NorCal, hello, nor Mid-Cal. You're in Mid-Cal, bro. Santa Barbara. Thank you. I have to recall isn't all there. Sup, Mikey and tribe. I'll add myself to as an AutoCAD and CAD operator. Okay. So do you write, so tell me, Nick, okay, so this is interesting. So do you program the machines, or do I give you a concept drawn on a napkin and you turn it into machine language in a drawing for me? Because that's a huge distinction. And if you're the latter, I'm stoked, because I lost my other guy. Man, he was so good, dude. I could just draw shit out, total sketch. Tell him what I want to do. I need this to fit in here. I need it this big to fit in a hole this size, and blah, blah, blah. And he would, like, in a couple days, he'd have that shit I could send a DWG or a DXF or whatever to the prototype guys, the 3D printing guys, and I could have this freaking part in like 2 weeks from the time I drew it on a napkin till it's existing in my hands. Those were really fun days when I was doing shit like that. I've got some cool ass. One of them's patented. I'll have to share it with you guys sometimes, and then you can see into Mikey's technical brain. So any of you other engineers, Joey, any of Brent, you guys can see into Mikey's technical brain. How does Mikey think? How does he design? When you see this really cool audio connector, you're going to know me on a deeper level. You're going to be like, okay, Mikey, now we know what we're cooking with. Because it's I'm kind of like stoked of it. It's like one of those things, like if you want, it's a cool way to, like this is one way. If you want somebody to know you a little bit, they know you kind of by what watch you wear, maybe by what shoes you wear. Sometimes they can get a feel, for the type of person. And for engineers, if I show somebody, artist is another thing. You draw your art. I know something about you by what you painted, right? So in engineers speak, we have our inventions, our drawings. I'm not an engineer. I guess I would say I'm an inventor. I'm just an idea dude, not even an inventor, but I guess I invented a connector. But like it, and you can see by the design, how that person's brain works. You're like, okay. Oh, so that locks. Oh, so that's keyed. So it fits the right way. I got you. Look at you, buddy. Nice. You can get a total view of the inside. It's like opening the hood up on someone's brain and looking inside. If you see their creations, their mechanical creations, and tell me if I'm correct, Brent, or not. Like, isn't that right? Couldn't you look at a design? Like if I showed you my patent drawing, you'd be like, fucking badass, dude. Cool. And likewise, I could look at your shit too and be like, okay, I got you. So it's pretty cool, man. Nick on the way, we're trying to get him to create something. Nicky is a DIY extraordinaire. Like I just tell him something offhandedly when we were talking. I remember when we first met, and the next thing I know, he's sending me pictures of shit he's building. And I'm like, damn, dude, good job. Like you're totally going over. You've got like, I have OCD, but you got it like twice. He would do it probably just like I would do it. Total OCD level, heavy duty bus bars, heavy duty shit, mounted, anti-vibration, all this shit. Like, I'm like, geez, dude. Okay. I went through that for many years, modding shit. And I had a company called Hot Rod Audio Mods. And it wasn't because it was car stuff. It was because I would take your DAC and hot rod it out. I'd pimp it out. I'd put headers on it and whatever, like figuratively. And so, so, oh boy, where was I going with that? So I learned a lot and I did a lot of those things and I did these crazy, I come across, I'm in my shop and I find like one of the old crossovers I did. I found one the other day and I just shake my head. I go, my fucking God, I was cuckoo, dude. Like, I'm like all the little things that I did on it. I'm just like, holy shit, where did I have that kind of motivation for DIY? Like, I can't imagine it now. It is just, it's so, during that time, you burn endless hours not listening to music, right? You're burning endless hours breathing lead smoke from the solder, putting things, but something at that time about arranging things is OCD, dude. It's like arranging them and putting like the legs together instead of putting them in a PCB or putting them on a thing like what point to point wiring a full crossover. That's how I would do my shit. Point to point, everything on a block, like glued down to wood, and then full tilt, point to point, all the best resistors, capacitors I could find. And then I'd put it with a speaker. I have foils, right? My foil cables that I designed. So I had on the back of a speaker, a binding post that would just squeeze the foil, and it had contacts on it. So you didn't have to fucking put a wire on it and put a spade or fold it like this and then cut a U out of it and make a little spade on the foil. You just it would just went into a clamp and it squeezed down. It was pure silver, and it had 2 crank wheels that you'd squeeze the shit out of it against a nice piece of pure silver, thick, flat wire that would go, and it would fold back on itself and then go down the stem. I'd do a 45 in the thing, so it would go like this and then point into the unit, like so I make a 45-degree fold, like this, and then it goes through the stem of the binding post into the speaker, and then a flat wire up to the end of where the drivers were, and then I'd replace the things on the drivers with pure silver contacts, and it was just where you wouldn't solder, you would clamp. I had little loose clamps. I still have them. I could show you where I would put that flat wire up against the tab on the driver and hold them together and then squeeze the clamp down. So there's no solder, because solder equals dissimilar metals. And once you put molten lead and tin inside a freaking contact point on a wire, well, yes, you are. But when you're OCD about it, you're like, no way would I want to introduce those adulterants into the wire or into the junction between where the signal goes. I want it to be pure silver and no solder, and just pure contact to contact, pure silver to pure silver. Nobody does that. I invented a way for you to go from the PC board in the amplifier, let's say, all the way to the driver with no solder and no dissimilar metals. Okay, it's never been done. It's never been pure silver all the way through, because you can't machine pure silver. It's too soft. So you can't make a binding post or a threads or anything like that out of silver. You can't. It's way too soft. So I made this. Everything I did was about non-conductive clamps clamping conductive foils together. It was fucking cool. And I invented a whole thing, like 5 different connectors to bring it all the way from the PC board all the way up into the speaker driver. But that shit's cuckoo. It's absolutely cuckoo. It's not needed. And that's what I realized in the end. Like, it was just this weird pursuit of taking it to the max, taking it to 11, which is what I do. And I went down that rabbit hole. And then at one point I'm like, dude, why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing this because I want to connect to the music in a spiritual way. Well, if I can do that by just buying a MPD-8 and like a couple other choice pieces of gear, and I don't have to worry about modding, and I don't have to worry about tweaks, and I don't have to worry about all this shit, then, oh my God, sign me up. Plus, I sell it. So it makes it much more of a sellable thing for me if I can create that for somebody else and they don't have a bunch of shit to hook up. If I can make it sing for them, and I don't have to keep telling, no, you got to put this mod in and you got to put this tweak in and you got to do that. That's how typical dealers sell, and there's a better way. There's a better way. So anyways, that was me rambling on, yapping, yapple dapple. So, Joey swapped. Any tribe members in Raleigh, Durham? Yeah, let's see. Okay. Charleston. Ted is up there. I think he's in Charleston. Raleigh, Durham, I don't hear. There's somebody and I've got people in Charlotte. But I'm trying to think of one guy might be in Raleigh, Durham, along with you. Swapped out the Sasha DAWs for the SN70s tonight. Change of pace. That's cool. Are those two-piece series? Why don't you try putting the SN70s on top? Taking that Tune Tot thing off the top and then put the SN70 there. I think somebody I know had Watt puppies or something like that. And they took the top off and put SN70 and they were like, holy shit, dude. Way better. For power conditioner, like a Puritan, how important is the power cord relative to the amp, DAC, streamer, etc.? It's still important. I don't know how important. Just don't use piece of shit cables. That's all. Don't use the plastic ones that are molded, and then don't spend, unless you just want to, don't spend $5,000 on a power cord. It's not needed. It's not needed at all. You can do it with, $500 power cords. I run my rig using, I do have a couple good ones in there, but, other than that, I could easily at the shows, I run my shows with $500 power cords. Easy. Other than me, of course. Yes, of course. Arun, hello, tribe from Houston. What's up, man? Are the Nat Magma M monoblocks an order of magnitude over the AGD duets? Can't stop thinking about them. Okay, so they're different. Magma M's currently are discontinued. So the next one that will come out will be the Magma M Evo. Okay, so that's in process right now. The last time something went to Evo, well, there was a couple different. The top of the line went ballistic. Okay, so I got my fingers crossed that Magma M doesn't do the same. So the top of the line went from 60 grand to 96 grand when they did that with the Magma New, and it became the Magma Evo for 96. Okay, so I got my fingers crossed on Magma M's, and they will hopefully they go from 60 to just 65 or 70 or something like that, but not any more than that. I mean, I'm sorry, from 40 to like 50. They're 40, not 60. 60 are the other ones. So maybe they go from 40 to like 50. I wouldn't want to see them more than that, So I don't know, man. The companies are getting weirder. The gear nowadays, it's getting harder and harder to get the really good stuff at a screaming deal anymore. You used to could, like we'd say down here, you used to be able to go to some of these countries, and I specialize in it, finding these underrepresented brands that are exceptional quality. And it's hard to find them you can find underrepresented brands that have cool shit that looks cool, but not all of it sounds killer, man. I know these brands out here, they come from Poland, they come from different places like that. And they get a little steam and marketing under them, but you listen to them and you're like, this really isn't that good. Nat Audio is different, man. It's an insider's brand. And as a matter of fact, since I did that short the other day, 2 pairs of transmitters are going tomorrow. One's going to San Francisco and one is going locally. So that's Tennessee. So that's pretty cool. It's and everybody that gets the Nats can't believe it. So look, it's older school. A Nat Audio amp is older school than AGD amps. AGD is the pinnacle of modern technology. That's what those represent. The absolute pinnacle of latest amplifier technology for audiophiles. Okay. The AGD duets are like an old school Aston Martin. It's like state of the art from back then. It's like big ass V12 engine, strong as hell, crank. It's like, I'm talking about like the transformers, right? The transformers on the amps are big, giant iron core transformers with like super high bandwidth. Everything is robust. It's all military spec, super heavy duty stuff. That's how Nat is built. Everyone is like a hand creation. They're damn near one-off pieces. They're made in small numbers. They almost might as well be, each one is its own creation. It's very close to that. They'll do like a run of maybe 20 pairs of something, and you're going to get one of 20 pair. And they're all going to be highest level quality, as if they were one-off custom creations. They're that good. So it's two different things. You're going after a different thing. The Nats are going to have more of a tube thing. Tube and solid state are different, man. They do something different, and I don't know exactly what it is, exactly how to describe it, but tubes have this airy, ethereal, floaty thing that's like 3-dimensional. If you get it right, it's very tough to beat. The problem is um, almost any tube amp sounds good. So people can throw stuff together. And for the majority of people, you're like, oh, that sounds really good. It sounds good enough, in other words. So you can make a cheap tube amp sound pretty good. The really good tube amps are freaking, you know, sublime. However, that being said, it's a tube amp. So you've got potential issues. It's like having an old Ferrari V12 with, 6 carburetors or something, 6 two barrels or whatever the hell, something funky like that. Like one thing goes wrong and now it's in the tuner. I mean, I'm not saying amps really have to, that the tube amps have to be tuned, but it's a device that has a duty cycle. It's going to drift. It drifts with temperature. So it sounds different when it's cold versus when it's warm. So it takes more patience. The AGD, you're going to turn it on. It's going to sound just like it's supposed to sound the whole time. You turn on a tube amp, you're going to wait at least 30 minutes and an hour, probably better, to get it into its nice, comfortable operating temperature where it's just like coasting. It's like getting a plane up to cruising altitude. That's what a tube amp, you have to get it up to cruising altitude. And so it takes time. It's more labor intensive. It is hot. So a tube like the Magma M's, depending on your room, can heat your room. My Magma News are big enough that they heat the room. So they're almost like a winter amp. I know the people that I've sold them to, Montana, Michigan. Where's my other pair of those? Massachusetts. So it's like, and people use them in the winter. They put them it'll heat the room. You don't have to worry about heating that room because it'll heat the room. In the summer here, we have, for us here in Atlanta, in the summer, I have to have a fan in the room that I turn on when I'm listening to those amps, because it will make the room, after an hour or so, the room is hot. And if there's 4 people in there, dude, you're like, dude, turn on the fan, because it gets hot. So, the AGDs won't have that. So it's like, and a tube, well, those big tubes will probably never go out. But the little tube might. Sometimes, maybe if a tube, you might have to replace a tube. And how do you know? It can drift a little before it goes, and then you notice something's weird, and maybe the image goes a little bit to the right because the tube got a little weaker on one side. These are the things that kind of like that you might have to deal with. Well, if that happens, you just replace the tube, right? You just, I need to change a tube there. But there's, then if you're going to change one tube, on this amp, on these amps, some of these amps, you might have to find a matched pair of tubes and then put them in so that they match left to right. So if you lose one, you don't replace one, you replace 2 left and right. So they're matched. Things like that. That is kind of what things you have to deal with. Tubes, however, the tubes are sublime. They're absolutely. Now, if I could get a solid state amp that pleased me as much as a tube does, I would do it in an instant. I would much rather have solid state. I don't like all that stuff that it's things that are, you just, if I didn't have to deal with it, I wouldn't. But I still haven't found a solid state amp that can give me the same realism as a vacuum tube. And again, I'm not talking about all vacuum tubes. I'm talking about single-ended triode from Nat Audio. Okay. All tube amps are not created equal. And push-pull tube amps are definitely not the same as single-ended triode. And little single-ended triodes, 2A3s and whatever, are definitely not the same as 845s or 6C21s like in the Magma M's. Those are powerhouse radio transmitter tubes that are meant to transmit radio transmissions, at a radio station. So they're, and you use a fraction of their power to power your audio system. That's why I can use a single tube, and power 1.9 ohm, 685 pound speakers, because it's a damn radio transmitter, and I've got 2 of them in there, 1 on each side. So it powers those speakers. No problem. Like you could put any low impedance, you could put a scintilla, apogee scintilla, no problem. It's stable from 0.5 ohm to 32 ohms. Those amps are. So it's crazy. Andrew Swift. So as we're talking about our tribe, Andrew is our local motorcycle racing guru. He can show you how to take a road bike, meaning a super sport motorcycle, a sport bike, and go on the track. And he can even instruct you because he's an instructor. So anytime we've got suspension setup questions or, motorcycle questions or track questions about the track and anything like that, Andrew's our guy for that. Yes, Nick, can you buy tube cages for the NAT integrated? Changing my room setup, need to protect the tubes. Yeah, I can't, you'd need to tell me, is this Nick, my local guy? Because those were the 805s, right? Just call me tomorrow, Nick, who, if you're my local guy or not, just call me tomorrow and I can consult with you and figure it out. Yeah, I don't do much machining work in New York except some 3D printing, but I am the guy that takes the napkin to a drawing. Oh, sweet, bro. Oh, man. If you're good at it, dude, you are indispensable. My guy was so freaking good at it, dude. I could give him the concept almost. I almost could describe it to him. I'd start describing to him, and he'd just draw it, just draw it down on a piece of paper. And then he'd come back with some drawings, and then I'd make quick little changes to him. And it was just the coolest process to work with somebody like you. When you guys are good at it, it's the coolest thing in the world, because for those of you that are watching, you're taking a concept in your brain and you're turning it into a physical part. What's even cooler is turning it into a physical mechanical assembly that has function. Now you just had a complete idea of, I could do it better, or why don't we do it this way? And then you can describe it, and Nick helps you get it so that you can make the part. He's the go-between, man. He's the catalyst that makes the whole thing work. And then next thing you know, you got drawings. He sends you files and you're like, holy shit, you can quote it online that night. It's awesome. Studied architecture in school, then got into more of engineering and fire safety in my career. Been working AutoCAD for more than 25 years. That's interesting. Somebody that I know, that I met the other night, works with a company that does high-level fire systems for commercial buildings, where they design out all the sprinklers and all that shit. That's what they do. Have you had a chance to listen to the Nagra streamer yet? No, I haven't. I'm sure it's great. Andreas made it. Yo, Mike, what's up, Charles? Meant to talk to you, brother. I wanted to tell you about I just wanted to bring you up to speed on some things. Little jealous of those 570s, dude. Well, brother, when you're ready, man, you know what they are. You know who I am and where they are. And, the tariffs are just going to keep making them more expensive, dude. Actually, 570s are already there, but whatever. There's still, that's what's super fortunate about the Fisher and Fisher line, is that even with the tariffs, they were so low priced to begin with that even when marked up with the tariffs, I still have an edge in the marketplace. I'm still half the price of a comparable product in Fisher and Fisher. It beats things. It matches or beats things that are double the price. That's what it competes with. I work in invasive cardiovascular medicine. If anyone ever needs info and advice, please reach out. Are you a doctor, Dr. Tom? Invasive medicine. That sounds gnarly. So invasive surgery is one thing, right? That's cutting into somebody. But invasive medicine, is it the same thing? Is medicine just the broad term for surgery, or are you talking about pills that you take that are invasive, which sounds horrible? It'd be like, fentanyl. That's definitely invasive medicine, if you ask me. But so heart stuff. So Tom is our heart disease expert, our heart issue. Rev, you called it. You said I should get a Roland, and I did. The hype is real. So Tommy contacted me today telling me how he can't believe how good the 625 S2 is. He's just beside himself. It kicked the shit out of his. Is it fair to say kick the shit, Tom? It beat. I mean, that's all I know is it beat. I don't know. I can't embellish. I think you said it beat it in every way. I think you were pretty, you were pretty firm about that. It beat it intensely. A Pass Labs 60 watt integrated, this thing throttled it from if which it should, it should. You can tell us more. Aren't the solos the amps with the huge huge linear power supply? Yes, they are. Let's see. Okay, here goes. We're gonna have to put them on here. Tommy, how are you, buddy?
Hey, dude.
Do you want to
jump in?
Do you want to go on?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, hold on. Let me bring this up. Okay, Tom.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, let's see. Let me turn you up. Oh, wait. I think I can do it on the phone. Yeah. Okay, cool. Go for it, buddy. So Tom Clark just called in. Tommy is Tom Clark. He just called in. What do you?
Well, there's two things. We hadn't had really a chance to talk. I've been pretty busy since I got the amp.
Mm-hmm.
So just like hitting like on this live stream, when I do business with you, it's time to check the box that everybody knows about how great you are to deal with when taking this journey about what to buy and how to buy it and all that kind of stuff. So
thanks, man.
This is the second thing I bought from you. I bought some Fisher speakers a few months ago.
Yep, 570s for everybody.
Unparalleled customer service. And, I'll be honest, I think I'm a little bit of a high maintenance customer.
Nah.
But in my interactions with you,
it's all good, man.
There's no indication.
I've had way heavier.
Yeah. I mean, really, just patient, always there, morning, noon, and night. I don't know when you sleep, dude, because there's a time difference here, and I text you when I think it's pretty late out there. But okay. Above and beyond, so everybody knows that. But if you are considering doing business with Mikey, hard to think that you're going to have a better experience.
Thanks, man.
On the amp, I had a Pass Labs integrated INT60, which I think is a decent amp. There's a certain Pass Labs sound that I was enjoying, and then I got this thing, and I was astounded. And obviously it's more expensive, all that kind of stuff. You're going to expect it to be better, but it just dominated the Pass Lab integrated I had. And we throw around terms to try to describe senses, which is always very difficult. But it's imaging and depth and all this stuff that we use to describe things. And when listening to this thing compared to Past Labs, like I experienced what soundstage is. Like what I'm talking about when I talk about soundstage. And it just was like experiencing all those terms we use in hi-fi to describe what we're hearing, and I was understanding what those things meant.
Cool.
But it just is clear, more defined, bigger soundstage, airier, and whatever the Pass Lab legendary sound is, just relatively to me, it just sounds sort of clouded and a little murky. So I much prefer this, and it's fantastic,
So let's ask you the $1 million question. Did you feel like you got your money's worth?
Oh yeah, dude. It's like,
because that's important, you guys. I mean, I don't say that like jokingly. Like most of hi-fi is filled with you buy stuff and then you either feel like I just got the shaft, or you feel like, I don't really know if it's worth what I paid. I can't really tell. It's okay. But then you get these things that you're like, holy shit, this is the real deal. Like I just got taken care of. Like this is good shit. You know?
Totally. And I have always been a little seduced by Griffin and, like you said, how they look and all that stuff. And like a Diablo 333 or whatever the hell is sort of in my price range would have been 10 grand more expensive than this was or whatever. And I just can't, I can't believe it would be that much. Like, I'm just trying to say this is a tremendous value. And I would have paid, if I had paid 30 grand for it, I would have still been thrilled.
Yeah. Yep. And for everybody wondering, it was 17.5. Yep.
Yeah.
And it was the last one off the line. It's signed by Jeff inside. It's a special unit, man.
Yeah, and that too.
Final edition.
That's not lost on me. This isn't just like you're selling a 555 off the line and you can get 50 more. Like, I am appreciative and somewhat touched that you, I mean, I know it was a special piece to you, and it's not just one of 500. And so I really appreciate you entrusting that to me and choosing me to sell that too. So I want to thank you for that too.
That's actually a good point. A lot of things that I keep here are in a collection. Okay. I just let you know about a few of them, unlike some of the last video shorts, but I keep them in my collection. People are like, well, why don't you list them? And I'm like, because they're for special situations when people need something. And then I've got just the thing, and it didn't go to some stranger on AudioGone, right? It's gonna, now I'm placing it with like I got to place a really killer piece with a really killer dude in the tribe. And this is way more important than just selling it faster, right? This was sitting here, right? It wasn't, I didn't list it, and I could have listed it and sold it a long time ago, but I have a lot of stuff like that where I'm just waiting like for the proper moment. Oh, just the other day. Okay. So Andy, who was on here with the horse, Andy, the horse trainer, bought my Romulus, Aesthetics Romulus, a killer tube deck. He wanted a deck. He needed something he had a modest budget, and he needed something in the $4,000 range, and this had volume control, a CD player, all that stuff on it, So I keep things like this for you guys. So reach out, don't just look and see what's online, because I have a lot more than what I put online in my collection. And if you want a special unique piece, I can set you up with something that is like, those Feastrex drivers, like that's going to be special for somebody to get those. And it's going to have to be, I have to feel the customer out too, and know if you're the proper person for this. I knew Tommy was the perfect guy for this 625S2 and his situation. So it's going to be a little bit with those Feastrex. I need to talk to you and not really interview you, but kind of like, it's like giving a puppy away or something, right? You have to like make sure it's the right owner, so that they, and not just, it's so that they get the most out of it. Like if somebody wants to crank rock, like somebody the other day had 570s and they were asking me about the SE1 monoblocks, the 50-watt GM70 Nat Audio monoblocks. And I'm like, will they work? Yeah, I could sell them to that guy and they would work, but would they be optimized? No, they wouldn't. You always want to have an amplifier that goes louder than your speaker can take, so that you use less of the amplifier. You never want to have an amp that you max out and the speaker's like, hey, give me more, because you're going to blow the speaker that way. You have to have more power than you need, right? So I didn't sell it. I'm like, no, man, that's not the right amp for you. And unfortunately, he wanted a tube amp and it was in his price range. And so I'm like, well, don't have anything, unfortunately. And so I have to put the right things together with the right people. I won't sell you something that isn't optimized. I don't just put together things that work. I put together things that kick ass. So thanks for the feedback, man.
Well, there's so much stupid talk in hi-fi, but there's a segment of people out there, when I'm getting a new amp, I start getting all obsessed and I just start reading about amps and amp reviews and all this stuff. And there's a segment of people that are like, amps don't really sound that different, And so then I start thinking like, fuck, I just spent like $17,500 for like something that's not going to sound that much different. Like I start getting all tripped out.
Yeah, totally.
And then I plug this fucking thing in. I'm like, holy crap.
That's right, man. That's what I do. That's what I get off on, is getting your calls back. Like, oh my God. Like almost every time I send people like the MPD-8, like the Nat Audio stuff, the Rolands, they all freak when they get it. They're like, dude, what the hell did you just do to me? Brent was the last guy. He got the MPD-8, and look, he got the speakers first, and he was like, dude, my RME and everything sounds great. Like, this is so great. I can't even imagine it getting any better. And then I said, just wait till you get your DAC, bro. You're on the tip of the iceberg, man. And then he got the DAC and he just couldn't believe it. Now he's like, Mikey, what did you do? I want to sell my vinyl now. I can't believe my brain is here. Like I never thought it would be there. So I thrive off blowing people's minds with giving them more than they expect. And then a product shows up, freight on a pallet. They put it in their house and they're like, what the F did you just do, bro? Like, this is crazy, and it's super fun for me to do that for you guys.
Well, there's also the part of you that's just a trip in a good way, but like I mean this tongue in cheek, but you're not a very good salesman. And it's like,
I am, but I'm not, right?
Yeah, right. I know. Like if I'm like, hey, this, and this, like, unless I keep going with it, you're not, you're just doing your thing.
Yeah. Yep. That's another thing. I don't oversell.
And you just expect to be barraged by like, hey, have you thought about, I'm wondering, you called all the time and stuff. And so that's a quirk about you. I appreciate it, but it's different.
Yeah, it is. And there's some people out there with some buyers that need a dealer that throttles them. It's like the dealer needs to squeeze the piss out of them. They don't think like he's not working hard enough for my money or something, and it's like, what I need to like convince you. Then that person needs to be convinced. So yeah. I don't need to convince anybody. It's not my style. My style is I've got the best shit and I don't talk about it. I do a little bit like on my channel, but I'm not able to properly put across owning a Jeff Rowland 625 S2. I can only say it's freaking badass. Like, I mean, how can I go into more than that? Like anything else is just silly, so I just say it's badass. Just trust me, it's badass. And then, so I don't sell. I don't need to, it's just a different way. And so for people that like to be just not bothered and make their own decision and come to terms on it on their own, then it's perfect. But for people that need to be convinced, there's other dealers out there that'll do that for you, and I'm not about talking anybody into anything. I just give a guarantee. Huh?
You weren't with me. You didn't court me at all. So,
no.
Yeah.
I know that when, if I take care of you guys, all I say is just buy the first thing from me. Just give me a chance to sell you one damn thing. And whatever that is, you look at what you paid and how it performed and what it did for you. And then think about buying something else. But first, let me show you how I do things, And then I know that if you want something else, you're going to come back because it was a great experience and you got hooked up and, hey, and it's not that hard to do that for people, So,
well, because I told you I stumbled across you after blowing a lot of money on shit I shouldn't even have bought, and engaging the process or the industry that facilitated that for me. You just feel kind of burned and empty, when you finally figure it out and you've had all these people like milk you from 40, 50 grand.
Totally.
And so that's great. But I don't want to sound like a massive fanboy, but it's been, I've done this with you before, and it's I can't say enough about it, and the product is amazing. And so thanks again, Mikey.
You bet, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks for your order. Thanks for your support.
I appreciate it. And I want an MPD8. I'm coming for it.
But, when the time comes, brother, you know where I'll be. Yeah.
But I started thinking, like, before I got this rolling, I'm like, I got a Mullen Tembaki. Like, how much better could it be? The MPD8,
dude. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dude.
Like, so then I'm thinking, like, what the hell? Is it really worth it? And then I get this rolling. I'm like, fuck.
Buddy.
So then I can understand there's going to be a proportional experience when I get that bastard. So.
Yes, and I can tell you there's going to be a big difference. They're not close. A Tembaki is the difference is one word, natural. The MPD8 is natural. The Tembaki is more typical DACI, high-end, super detailed, what we call hi-fi sound, and it's good for many people. Many people like the analytical sound, but typically music guys don't really prefer that,
It sounds beautiful to me with this setup, with the Fishers and the Roland, and you're thinking like, it sounds beautiful, but I don't think many people have heard the sound of what you're referring to, so you don't really you've sort of peaked in your own experience. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I've sold enough of them and put them up against so many different things. I mean, the last call I got, bro, was that where somebody was comparing them A, B. One of my last buyers that got MPD8 is in Washington, DC, and he's got Vivaldi stack. Okay, this is $100,000 DCS stack. Vivaldi Apex with the whatever, all this the crap. It's a stack. It's like 4 pieces or 3 pieces, 2 pieces, whatever. It's called a stack for a reason, I guess. And he said, Mikey, the MPD8 is definitely better. And my wife sat in here and she could tell, and we sat and listened, and we wouldn't choose the other one, and MPD8 it's a fourth of the price, so yeah, yep. So, and the great thing about it is the way, how I do biz, you could get it. And I would say, keep your 10-back key, get the MPD8, put it in together and listen to them side by side or one after the other. And then choose your pick and say, is this worth the extra dough for the MPD8? And, it's a very interesting thing. If you try and use your mind and what does it sound like, it's going to be a little difference in sonic, but that little difference is like pushing you over a cliff into a new realm of realism. So it's like, okay, I can't explain what just happened. Like, it wasn't really a sound thing, but I feel and experience this music totally on a higher level, and it's not in my ears. It's like in my chest and in my body. It's weird, dude. Andreas understands something very important about the physiological correlation between decoding digital to analog and the human body. He has a grip on it, and he has put it in his algorithm, and that is what makes playback designs completely different than any DAC. It's totally different. And he talked about that on the live stream the other day, and he doesn't exploit that in his marketing. I mean, I'm going to suggest, and I don't know if he would do this, but coin a name for that, give that a name, and use that in the marketing, let people know, because people just think it's another deck. And the way, if you look at it's so obvious that he's an insider's brand when you go to his website, right? It doesn't get into a long pitch telling you all this bullshit. But if it said using the whatever they coined the term, epic algorithm, whereby the processor mimics the human ear and is actively changing the filters while it's decoding. Nobody knew that until he said that, man. I didn't freaking know that until he said that. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, are you kidding me? It like actively changes shit. Like, they're not filters that you just choose. Like, that shit keeps changing. I'm like, fuck, dude, that is badass. That needs to be named and then featured, because, or maybe he just wants to keep it quiet because that's his special sauce. But it's like, there's definitely something unique about that deck that nothing else does. And
well, those legends are unique, dude. Like, come on, the dude fucking listens to every one before he lets it get sold.
Totally.
Or Roland the 555 has never been up on the website. Like,
I know, dude. We're in a weird world. This is the insider's world. This is insider audio. Insider audio doesn't get pitched, dude. It doesn't get pitched. The stuff that you see pitched everywhere needs to be pitched. Okay, that's why it's pitched, because it freaking needs it. Macintosh needs to be pitched. Okay, yeah. All those other crap, these other, and you can tell the ones that need to be pitched the most. If you go to a show and they're in every room, like you see them in multiple rooms, those are the brands that need the most amount of pitching, because people can't just use their ears. It's not, they're just promoting it. And you just know they're just pushing it, man. This is something that's being shoved down our throat, and, but these are the brands. I specialize in the stuff that not everybody knows about. It's not pitched because it's insider stuff. It's like, when you're in the know, you're in the know. So yeah, so that's why these brands are like that. But, So when the time comes, you listen to them both and you pick whatever you like best, you know?
As far as MPDA, you know, Brent or Ref came by my house, checked out the 570s, brought his amp and stuff. And, you know, great guy, wonderful guy to hang out with. When he left, I'm like, that guy's a vinyl guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he had his home, how he recorded to DSD and stuff.
Not
and I'm like,
anymore.
I'm not saying, yeah. And I was like, he had digital in his life. He sees the utility of both, but I'm like, that's a vinyl guy. He records the DSD and that's his thing. And his stuff he played was really great. It was wonderful. But so anyway, it's significant that Brent, who I don't know well, but had certainly got experience getting knowing, I wouldn't have ever expected him to be saying, even considering kind of moving away from
Absolutely,
vinyl, or
man.
even saying that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't know if he will, but even considering it.
Absolutely. He's a poster child for that. Like, I mean, he's like such a great testimonial for that, because you're right. Brent was dyed in the wool, steeped in vinyl, like a vinyl file, you know, wicked rare pressings, like all the, you know, that shit, like hardcore. And he would rip them to DSD times 4, you know, so that he could listen to them back ripped, and not have to, you know, whatever. It sounds, I don't know if it was easier why he did it or it sounds better, but he just claims that his vinyl rips were definitely better than streaming. Now he's comparing with the Playback Design streamer and the Playback Designs DAC, and he's like, dude, they're so freaking close. And he's like, and vinyl doesn't have the dynamic that digital does. It just doesn't. You know, if you get too much dynamics in vinyl, the freaking needle pops out of the groove. So you've got limits of dynamic, which you don't with digital. You get tons of slam that you don't get from vinyl. So he's learning to love. And this is what I the other day I was at somebody's house. They had $120,000 turntable and all this shit. And he put on vinyl and he's like, listen, isn't that great? And I'm like, yeah, it's cool, you know. And then he put on digital, like through a DCS Rossini, kind of not that big crazy of a DAC, but we listened to it. Both Big John and I were there, and we're like, dude, this is totally better. I said to him, I like the vinyl better. I like the digital better than the vinyl. And he kind of chuckled and said, ha ha ha, that's because you're used to listening to digital. Like something about my listening was wrong or something, like, because I'm used to listening. And I'm like, dude, you got it all backwards. You're used to listening to shitty ass vinyl, thinking that it's the best shit, but it's totally, you know, it's what's the word? It's limited. Its dynamic range is totally limited. And you're used to thinking that's great. So you're not used to bass. You're not used to slam. You're not used to clarity and all that shit. So it's the other way around. And that's exactly what Brent is describing to me. He's like, dude, I'm having a paradigm shift. He said, I'm starting to realize that I was accustomed to vinyl, which is limited. And that was my reference. And now with this, it's completely opening my eyes, and I can't freaking believe it. So if anybody is listening, there's 82 of you listening right now. If any of you want the best pressings, kick-ass vinyl, Brent is going to be selling his vinyl, and he's got a killer collection, all, you know, very well taken care of. So it's up for grabs. He's not the first guy that's done that, man. I had another guy that was all like 3,000 records, you know. And I know even for you vinyl guys, that's not that much, but he had 3,000 records. He was in his 70s, you know, and he's like, you know what? He called me one time and he said, Mikey, what did you do to me? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, dude, I'm selling all my albums. I've called up this local record company, record seller, and he's going to come and buy everything. You know, this thing beats. So Brent isn't the first guy that it's, and they're the best. Well, look, I mean, MoFi uses the Playback Designs A to D to archive their tapes and then cut vinyl from the digital masters that are made with the Playback Designs. And then when they play it back, they listen through an MPD8. So that ought to say a lot too. Yes. So, all right. Thank you for coming on, buddy.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you in person. Great experience. I love it. And I'm going to go, before I go to bed, do that thing what we all do when we get something new. We re-listen to all our
we sleep
favorite
with
stuff. So
it.
I'm doing now. Yeah. Almost, dude.
Yeah.
Don't think about it.
Yeah,
I'll
man.
just cuddle up to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's doing
buddy.
it real nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
All right, Mikey.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it.
Okay, cheers,
See ya.
man. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so Rocky asks, aren't the solos the amps with the huge linear power supply? Yeah, they are. They got the big ass transformers in them. I claim playback MPD8 sound as good as vinyl. It sounds better than vinyl. Question is, how about MPD6? How does it compare to vinyl sound? They're both very similar. They're not different. They both have the same DNA. So when you hear those two with the algorithm that Andreas does, the active algorithm that actively changes filters during the music playback, okay, they both have that. Okay, it's just if you took the MPD6 and you said, let's take it to 11, they actually do it in reverse. First, he designs the best DAC he can possibly make using all the best of his knowledge, all the best components, all the top level, and he makes the top level one. Everything divided, left and right, mono boards, all that crap. And then you make the 6, which is how do we make one $5,000 less or $9,000 less? How do we make it for $9,000 less? Well, we use 2 transformers. We put it in a smaller box. We put everything on one board instead of 4 boards. We do, and that's how you do it. So, but the math, the algorithm, the conversion process, everything is the same on the 6. So when you hear them, the 6 is 90% of what the 8 is. The 8 is the last DAC you'll ever buy, period. I'll guarantee it. The 6 is 90% of that. Typically, people get the 6. They love it so much. It's incredible. They just can't deal with not having the 8. They're like, dude, this is so good. If it gets better, I've got to have it. And almost every 6 I sell gets traded back in for an 8. And I sell 10-1 8s over 6s. I swear to God, I can't remember the last 6 I sold. I sell 8s like tacos, So, but if that is the top of your limit is 15K, then get a 6 because it is killer. Hey, Tom. Yes, sir. The Roland is amazing. Yes. Tom, glad you're enjoying it. Yep. Nick, my bro, works for Autodesk. Oh, okay. Cool. Good evening, Mikey and Tribe. Chilling in Charleston for a few days. Mark's in Charleston. So I think we might have... Charleston's a cool town, man. I like Charleston. Man, they got some cool old hotels. They got a great ice cream joint, dude, right on the main street across from the haunted hotel and down a little bit. Yeah, Charleston is cool. I dig Charleston, and it's got cool restaurants in those old like antebellum like mansion houses things. It's cool, man. Charleston is awesome. Procedures to correct coronary disease and cardiac electrical oh wow, far out. Okay. Do I take trade-ins for Roland gear? You mean do I take in trade-ins of Roland gear or to get Roland gear? And as you know, and I'll say this for everybody that's watching right now, I don't take trade-ins of anything that is not brands that I carry. Okay. I only, and even then, if somebody else sold you a brand I carry, I might not take it in because look, if I didn't sell it to you, that means I didn't make any money on that piece the first time around, right? So I have to make money when I take it in. So I have to give you 30% below what standard market, maybe even more, what standard market value is. Typical is like 30% underneath what it's really worth. So I can make 30 points on that thing that I take in. Otherwise, why do I want some other shit? Why do I want it here used? I don't, it's got liability. It could be used hard. It could be smoked with. It could have pets. It could, used gear is just liability. I don't want it. And now if I sold you the piece, I don't care if it's 15 years ago, I will give you 80% of what you paid as a trade-in for whatever, Andrew. So if you bought something from me, yes, I would take it as trade-in for Roland gear. You would get 80 points on the dollar of what you paid me. But if you want to come bring somebody else's stuff that is something I carry, like a Playback Designs, I would probably buy a Playback Designs from you, take it on trade. But if it's like, let's say DCS, I'm not going to take DCS. I've had people try to trade me, what's that other Greek one? Aries Surat. I don't want that shit. You know, it's like I'm not even, and I know that stuff can sell, but I just don't want it, man. It's like I don't stand behind it. Macintosh would sell all day long, but I wouldn't do that to people. I have to want to give you something that I know is going to deliver, and I those other things don't deliver as far as I'm concerned. So I know that's a long question, but no, I don't typically take trade-ins. I don't want them. And I'm not doing anybody a favor by selling shit that I don't believe in, you know? So if you traded me in something else, then, but you can, if it's something I carry, Andrew, I might take it anyways. Clark checking in from Oahu. What's up, buddy? Hey, DeHardy, I'll see you tomorrow, man. Going to bed. Ducati and Triumph hit the mountains. Yeah. So DeHardy's coming up, man. We're jumping on our bikes. We're going to ride up to North Carolina. I'll be on the Ducati. He'll be on his Triumph. We're going to meet up there we're going to meet my brother on the way, and then we'll meet Ted Denny from Synergistic Research up in the mountains, and we'll all ride together. So that should be fun, man. We'll be sitting out by the fire smoking stogies. Yeah, MPDA hype is real. I got about 250 hours on it in a week. Yeah, good, man. You're cooking it, getting it burned in. How does AGD Duet compare to 555 and Donizetti? Okay. So Donizetti and all of the audio analog power amps are strong. They have a lot of slam, a lot of thump, a lot of bass, a lot of grunt. And they are on the musical side. Okay, so they're a perfect match for, say, Focal speakers, or like something more forward. Or if you have sensitive ears to high frequencies and you want something a little tamed down in the high frequency, I'm the opposite. I need to have them smooth, but I need to make sure that the high frequencies are all there. So Donizetti would be good with Fisher and Fisher if you want more of a easy to listen to sound, or like a more forgiving sound, right? So Donizetti's are on the warm side. If we're right in the middle, 5 is right in the middle. Donizetti's at like a 6.3, 6.5, leaning towards musical. The 555 AGD Duet, straight down the middle. Okay, straight, perfectly down the middle. 5. 555 would be also straight down the middle, maybe a little bit. Instead of at a 5, it would be at 4.5. So a little bit leaning towards a little bit more and articulate. But they're variations. They're just little variations. The Donizetti has twice the power that the 555 has. The AGD Duet, Donizetti has like 3 times the power of what AGD Duet has. So they're all kind of different. Donizetti is big and freaking heavy. Donizetti is like a freaking tank. It's got big heat sinks on the side that are just, they're sharp, man. You can't like get your hands under them, right? They'll if that thing slips in your hand, it could hurt. They're just like big, gnarly, old school heat sinks. It's gnarly, big ass, giant transformer, class AB design. 555 has a switching mode power supply. It's smaller, it's lighter, it's more compact. It does run hot. That's on purpose, because the whole body is the heat sink. So you're feeling the heat sink the whole time, anytime you touch the case of the Roland. AGD Duet, zero heat, small, light, the most modern stuff. A little more texture. I'm sorry, 555 is not more analytical than Duet. It's in between Donizetti and Age. So if the AGD is at 5, and let's say Donizetti is at 7 in terms of musical, 555 is at 6. It's closer to Dead Nuts, but it's still a little bit on the musical side. That is how they compare. AGD duet would be the most transparent, and it's at Dead Nuts 5 because it's not harsh, but it is very extremely transparent. Hope that helps. Amps matter for sure. I went from a Riga to a T plus A, and the difference was huge. Now I'm waiting to afford a Mikey upgrade. Yeah, buddy. By the way, there's a tribe member, Andrew, in Chicago that has a T plus A that he's giving away right now. I mean, I think it's a $30,000 piece. I believe he's selling it for 15, and it's brand effing new. He thought it had a DAC on it. And here's another story for you. He bought it from a dealer. The dealer told him it was all-in-one. He got it home, and it was not an all-in-one. It was just a integrated. So this dealer, in their mind, they were thinking they've been around a long time. For them, all-in-one means integrated amp. They don't think of it in terms all-in-one actually means DAC, amp, streamer, everything all in one motherfucking box, right? So, chalk it up to generational, lack of communication or lack of being on the same page. And he wanted to return it, but the dealer had discounted it to him. And it was a slight discount. Like he's losing money on this thing and he hasn't even used it. I think he's losing $5,000 on it. I think it's a $30,000 piece. I think he spent 20 on it. And he's selling it for 15. And it's brand freaking new integrated T plus A. But the dealer was like, no, I don't take back things when I make a discount. It's all, the problem is yours. And, it's typical, man, the same guy. And it's unfortunate because he got kicked in the ass twice. Just before that, Belcanto, he got a couple Belcanto amps that he bought from a dealer in Chicago. And the one of the amps blew. So he gave the dealer and said, I need this repaired. It should be under warranty. The dealer said, okay. 4 months went by, nothing happened. He called I know Belcanto, and he complained to me. I contacted Belcanto. Belcanto said, well, we don't even have that amp. Turns out the dealer was just sitting on it, hadn't even shipped it to Belcanto yet. So finally, the dealer gets off his ass, ships it to Belcanto. Belcanto repairs it. It's right on the cusp. It's like maybe a month out of warranty. Belcanto covers it under warranty, does a favor to this dealer. This dealer contacts my guy, knowing that it's a month out of warranty, and says, oh, it's out of warranty. That's going to be $800 for the repair. Charges the customer $800. Okay. So customer doesn't know any different. He's like, whatever, that sucks. Now, all of a sudden, it was a pair of monos. The second mono block goes out. Okay. It's a power supply issue. So he goes, fuck, man. Now I got this other one that goes out. Send it, I got to send it back. This time he sent it direct. And I talked to Belcanto and I said, dude, is there something wrong with your power supplies? Like, if there is, let me know. Because if you've got an issue and it's something you know about, this should be done under recall, even if it is out of warranty. And they came back and said, no, it's not, whatever. This time we need to charge. They said, because now we're way out of warranty. The last one we gave the benefit of the doubt and we gave him for free under warranty. And this one we have to charge for. That's how I found out that the dealer was full of shit. I'm like, oh my God, Belcanto just told me that they gave the last one for free that you paid $800 for. And it turned into this thing, man. In the end, the dealer didn't want any responsibility for it. So my client went and paid the second $800. The first $800 went straight into the dealer's pocket for being a dickbag. And then the second $800 went direct to Belcanto to actually get a repair. So after that, and then after having the thing not be repaired, not returned, the T plus A, he is like fed up with hi-fi. He doesn't listen. He doesn't fucking even want to do it anymore. I'm like, oh my God. And that's what the traditional fucking industry does. They're douchebags and they fuck people over and they stick it to them. And then they ruin it for people. So people give up on the hobby because of dickheads, and it's like, and so obviously that pisses me off. You can tell by my forked tongue. But it's like, yeah, so I have resentment towards that. And I have resentment towards the industry for doing that to people. The other thing they do is they put half-ass products and they market the shit out of them and they put them in all the rooms and they try and make it seem like it's a great thing and everybody agrees and all the magazines agree it's great and all that thing. And it sucks. You're like, that shit isn't great. I've listened to it in 5 different rooms now. It sounds like ass every time I fucking listen to it, but all you motherfuckers say it's great. It's like, Jesus Christ, could you be any more hustling? And that's why Mark Levinson calls it the audio mafia. Again, I don't give them that because the mafia is tough. These guys are it's not mafia level, but it's fixed level. It's cronyism. It's like, let's pull one over on the industry. Let's pull it over on people. Let's just market the piss out of this stuff. Everybody will all agree that it's great. Magazine, you Mr. Magazine guy, you write great about it. We'll make sales. We'll put them in every room. I'll sell a bunch of them. Then I'll buy ads in your magazine. And it's like how everybody, hustles the industry. It's a closed circuit, right? So sorry to get so heated and everything about that, but I feel I'm very vehemently against that shit. And that's why I created the tribe. I'm like, you know what? I did that for 15 years. I swam in those waters. I did played the game and did all that shit. And I'm like, no way. These guys are douchebags. I don't want to have anything to do with them. I don't care how successful, how many millions of dollars they're making. They're not cool people, So why don't I create my own damn market, my own damn thing, the tribe. We will take care of each other. We will have agreements where we agree not to be douchebag dicks or whatever the words, whatever explicative I can come up with, where we're like cool to one another. Like imagine that, where we sell with integrity, where I sell good shit and all I have to do is just, so that is all of that from a T+A comment. Did you see that? That's a seed, man. That's a thorn in my foot. T+A just like triggers something, because it got one of my dear beloved buddies not to like hi-fi because of what happened with that. And it's not the brand, it was the dealers that do this, and it's like, and they should divulge that. They should say, look, if I sell to you on discount, you can't return this shit. I don't take returns. But they'll defer to some shit on their website. Oh, it's in the terms and conditions. Look on my website. And then you find it buried on some page on the website. Oh, shit. Okay, well, they divulged it, So they've got legal grounds or whatever the hell. It's just idiocy. It's stupid idiocy. So, okay, yeah, I've gotten to exercise the demons. And we will move on. Rashawn, dude, Rashawn, you need to go get your MPD-8, bro, because they're not going to be available until June of next year. Okay. I've got a limited amount right now. You can go over to Brent's and listen. You've heard him crooning about it, but there's 4 pieces that are available. One sold and day before yesterday. There's 4 pieces available until June, and no other dealers have them. I've got all 4. So go, buddy. Go listen to it. Can I speak to Jeff Rowland's 625 versus the Nat amp? Well, yeah, again, 2 totally different things. The Nat is going to be more extended high frequency and more of a euphonic floaty type thing. Now, granted, this will be related to the speakers that you have, so Jeff Rowland 625 doesn't have a sound unless it has speakers and unless it has a DAC in front of it, right? So but comparatively in my rig, the Nats are more extended. They have a higher bandwidth. It seems like it just sounds that way. Now, if we measured the 2, I don't know what would happen, but the Nats are the best that I have right now that I can, and if I had 735s, maybe I could try those. Those might make sense. But a 625 would take a stereo amp. It's a stereo amp. I'm using monoblocks right now in my rig. So you've got a great amp, Rashawn. You need a better DAC. Okay. Your damn Mola isn't that great. Okay. And I just got to talk to you like this. Like I got to talk to you straight. It's a good DAC, but it's not great. It's not world class. It is a good DAC, period. You had to send it back. I know somebody else that had to send it back. So I've already got 2 customers that had to send the thing back to get repaired. So there's issues with the thing. It's not even a finished product. It's having problems and it needs to be repaired. So you can listen. You can bring your Mola Mola over to Brent's. You can compare them side by side. You do not need to look at a different amp. You need to look at a different DAC, brother. That will change your world. The MPD8 with the 625S2 is going to be freaking a dream made in heaven. Okay. I can't remember what speakers you have, but you can talk to me about it. But that is the proper way for me to advise you, is keep your amp and change the DAC. Don't change the amps. What is current pricing of AI version MPD8? It is 30 grand. And for those of you that are wondering, AI is analog input. That's so that you can use a record player or a tape machine and plug it directly into your DAC. Andreas figured out the psychoacoustics of the DAC. Whatever you throw at it, it's amazing. It beats my vinyl, and I never thought that could happen. Dude, I mean, and Rev to say this is like, if we got Nick Panizzi to say it, or if we got Michael Fremer to say it, I mean, these are the same level of vinyl files that Brent is, these are like heavy level vinyl files, and you put the MPD8 in and it changes their world, unless for some reason they want vinyl for the ritual. Some people want to touch things and place it down and move an arm and do all that shit. If some people like the ritual, maybe it helps them slow down or chill out or whatever. So there's other reasons other than sound why people want vinyl, and then, but if it's based on sound, the MPD8 is your choice. The fact that you guarantee satisfaction is so unique and outstanding and makes me feel comfortable to do business with you. Very trustworthy. Your business model is unique. Lack of pressure is rare too. Yeah, man. I mean, I say this to people many times when I'm talking to them. I don't guarantee it to, like, people will say guaranteed not to be DOA, right? Guaranteed not to be dead on arrival. Like, the only way I'm taking this shit back is if it's not working when you get it. That's what they're telling you. Okay. So mine isn't guaranteed to work. My guarantee is guaranteed to blow your fucking mind. Okay. If it doesn't, send it back. Guaranteed to kick the shit out of whatever you currently have, or your money back. I mean, there can't be a better guarantee than that. And I give you all your money back. I don't keep a restocking fee. I'm not going to nickel and dime you because I'm a chintzy ass bitch dealer, So that's the only way to do it. And because of that, I sell full systems, 6-figure systems. Nobody's ever met me. In these buyers have not met me in person, and they have not heard the gear. Okay. That is my reputation. I don't need anybody. I don't need a store for somebody to come in and listen. It's not needed. I've got enough people coming on here telling you guys how great everything sounds, how much it's changed their life. That's all we need. We do it different in the tribe, and I take care of you guys just like I would be wanting to take care of. All I had to do is, like, what's the problems in the industry? What didn't I like? What would I not want to have to happen? What would my dream dealer be like? And that's how I am. I just emulate that. Returns, no problems, suggestions that are solid, not bullshit suggestions based on what I have in my room that I need to sell. No, you may want something from me, and I may tell you, you need to wait 2 months. Most dealers won't do that. They will take your money now. They will tell you if the DAC, like, let's say they have Playback Designs and M Labs and something else, they will tell you the best DAC is the one that they have in stock. If they have all three in stock, then maybe they'll consult a little bit. But let's say they have no Playback Designs and all they have is Meitner. Now they're going to tell you Playback Designs isn't that great. Meitner's better, because that's what they have to sell you today, because they understand compulsion to buy and people's compulsion to buy. It's very real, man. People, all of a sudden, their crypto went up this day, their stock market went up today, and they're like, I'm doing it today now, And then if they call up and they're ready to buy a DAC and you don't have one in stock and it takes 2 weeks, sometimes that kills deals. They want it today. So they'll go buy another DAC that's in stock today just so they can get their jollies for the day. So I don't, that's not my customer base. But anyways, yeah. So I guarantee not only that you're satisfied, I guarantee that you're blown away. So thanks for that, man. I appreciate that. Marketing term, adaptive soundscape technology. Yeah, exactly. You know, something exactly like that. I mean, why not, man? You know, but the only thing I can think of is if he doesn't want to, you know, give away what makes his thing special, you know, which is great. He doesn't need to even say it. He doesn't need to market it. He doesn't need to say anything. He just knows his shit is it's like what is that saying? Like the um baddest ass in the jungle doesn't need to walk with a big stick or whatever, or walks with it like you don't need to when you know you just when you're the badass, you don't need to show off. Okay, you're quiet. You don't advertise. You don't shove your shit out for freaking reviews from every half-ass stupid bot paid for magazine bullshit everywhere. You know what I mean? I mean, you just you know you're the badass, and people come to you. People that are in the know come to you. So, anyways, Brent says, my vinyl death is like learning Santa Claus isn't real. That sucked, bro. I remember that very well. I was resentful to my parents, probably for life. I'm selling my vinyl. Look at that, dude. You guys are witnessing this right here in live on the live stream. Revelry, a steeped audio file. I'm selling my vinyl. It seduces you into thinking it's better. But the MPD8 is a mind blower. You know, I'm not saying it, you guys. This is somebody that just bought that is a freaking diehard audio vinyl file, you know, and I knew it when I met him. I'm like, okay, this is a music dude. That's what what's great about vinyl files is you all are music dudes. You guys know your music because you're picking the shit up and you're very intimate with it every time. So you guys know your music for sure. And you're into music because you deal with all the bullshit of owning a record, right? So you're into it. You got to be, because there's a lot of reasons, you know, to not have to go through all that ritual. So I'm going to read it again for posterity because it's crazy. My vinyl death. He's talking about his vinyl death, and we're all here for it. You got to realize if we go back a couple months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, you're going to see Revelry talking in the streams saying that vinyl is still better than digital, you know, when he had his RME. So my vinyl death is like learning Santa Claus isn't real. I'm selling my vinyl. That whole, that sentence right there is crazy. It seduces you into thinking it's better. Couldn't be said. I couldn't have said it better myself. So yes, it is possible. It is true. You just need to come to Jesus when it's your time, right? It's like finding Jesus. When it's your time, you pop like a popcorn. Finding Jesus or having self-awareness, you know, your sadhana maybe gets you to the point of enlightenment. However you want to call it, there is an awakening at some point, you know, and that's what I call getting you across the line. I refer it to getting you across the line. That's when it's like, okay, baby, now we're cooking. Now I don't care what you tell. Like, you get a complete system, Rev, once you do your amps, and Tom, once you get your DAC, and you know, you guys are going to be like, okay, check. Like that is completely checked off my list. I am in every way. I'm as absolutely happy as I could have ever imagined with audio. And then you can forget about it, man. It's cool. It's like, it is a relief, quite honestly. Patrick says, I live in a way too dusty of an environment for vinyl. Where do you live, in Baja, Mexico? You leave your windows open during dust storms. Do you live in a wood mill, a wood shop? Like, where is it too dusty, man? And where you have your windows open. But yeah, vinyl will do that, man. It collects the dust, and then you need a degritter, and then you need all this other stuff, you know. And even if you don't live in a dusty environment, you need a degritter, because those little things with static, man, they'll find their way. Most audiophiles have been convinced that harmonic distortion, limited channel separation, and dynamic range sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what names we put on it. You know, we don't really need to know, in my opinion, the scientific reasons. I don't really care what they are. It's just like, look, it either sounds good or not. And I don't give a fuck if I'm listening to harmonic distortion and I'm listening to, and I don't care what it is. This shit sounds good. And so and that's all it boils down to. So it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, I probably have high harmonic distortion in my tubes. I'll bet you anything. I've got high distortion and it sounds fucking good. And your ass is going to be here tomorrow. And let's see you tell me that it doesn't sound good, dude. We'll make a video, dude. Let's make a video while you're here. We know Stevie. Stevie is the anti-tube guy. Well, he's not. Are you anti-tube, Steve, or you just argue against it for the sake of debate? Because Steve was on the debate team, so he loves to debate me. I have fun debating him. It's fun. Andrew, the motorcycle racer, says, I stayed at that haunted hotel in Charleston. Yeah, without knowing it was haunted. TV turned on to 3:00 a.m., the witching hour, to static twice. No way, brother. That's crazy. I would freaking love that. I probably wouldn't. That's funny, right? That's ego talking, right? I would love that until the ghost shows up and then I'm like crying and like scared shitless. But I think I would like to. It would freak me out, but in like a weird, like I'm alive way. I think if that happened, I I hesitate to say I hope it happens, because if it did happen and it was real, I would probably be scared. I would be like, oh shit, I'm in the netherworld or whatever, or like I'm in some sort of a vortex where they are able to come into. Normally, I have a wall that keeps all that shit out of my life. Like there's no supernatural shit that, other than, karma, good fortune or having karma, none of the weird ghostly shit like that. I typically, I'm not open to it. I don't have my receptors open to it. So, and I wouldn't want to open my receptors to that, because I feel that it does exist, and I don't want that shit coming in. Look, my life is fine without it. Like I don't need that shit in it, but if that went off, that would be pretty badass. That would make for an extremely adventurous trip, and I welcome adventure. So we stayed in the Reed Room in Chattanooga, and in the Reed House, and that's a haunted hotel. But we didn't get any weird shit like the TV turning on at 3 a.m. to static. That would be epic, dude. That would start me off into a total trip. I would just be tripping, and then I'd be like, let's ride this out, baby. Let's turn it up. I mean, I think I would, but maybe I would be scared to be like, no, go away. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'd have to have it happen to, maybe I'm opening the doorways right now. Oh man, whatever. Fuck it. I'd rather ignore it. At Revelry, sup from Nikki in Brooklyn. Mark and Moidle, do you happen to have previously owned MPD6? I don't. Can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe I would part with my AA DAC for 80%. Yeah, buddy. I mean, I'll always give you 80%. If you don't need, let's see, your AA DAC has volume on it. Do you need volume control on your DAC? Because I could have sold you the damn aesthetics, but that is on its way out. I have a see, the reason I have an MA3i, the Meitner, that I think is 11,500. I'll sell it for $9,000. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there to see if anybody's paying attention. I'll sell it for $9,000. Call me tomorrow. It's got a streamer on it. It's got volume control. It is an open box, but would have full warranty. I take these things out of the box to make videos of them, and I buy them, and then I check them out, and I see if they somehow fit into my line. And so if you want the MA3i, and it came from the factory that way, it wasn't one that was sent back, holler. And so I could do that, and that is, it's not the same as the MPD6, but it is a decent amount less. MPD6 is $15,000. I could take $500 off on it as a gesture of goodwill, since you bought something, and they give you 80% of your AA DAC, you know, so maybe it costs you what, let's see. So that was $5,000. So you get $4,000. So maybe it cost you 4,000, no, 10,000 bucks, 10,000 plus your trade. I think that's the right math. Yeah, buddy. So let me know. That has a streamer on it if you want to do that. On that scale, alongside Donizetti 555 and AGD Duet, where do you place the 625 and Nat? Holy shit. The Nat is the king. Okay. Let's establish that first. The Nat is king. Nothing beats it. Okay. 625 is next in line. Okay. That is the 625 is the top solid state. Okay. 555 Donizetti is everything that a 625 is, with all the same heft and all the weight, just more musical, more on the musical side. AGD Duet, I'm trying to remember which one is Duet. How many watts? I can't even remember. I can't keep up with which model. The Duet is, I think, the new. I can't remember which one the Duet is. But it's AGD, so it's perfectly clean. You know, it's right down the middle. It doesn't have a flavor. You know, it's flavorless. 555 has Roland flavor. 625 has 555 flavor, but twice the power. Donizetti has pasta power, man. It's easy going. You know, it's a huge thumper, but it is musical. So I hope that helps. Vividscape, the sound of deep presence, dynamic realism. Right. Like that's what a cheesy company would do, you know? And that's like, the more I think of it, it's like Andreas wouldn't do it because it just cheeses it out too bad. How could he pimp out his algorithm by calling it something kitschy? He couldn't do it and giving it a logo. It's too cheap. It's what all the other guys out there do that don't even have anything special. How do you make something that's not special special? You give it a logo, you give it a trademark name, and then you put a little icon next to it, DBX or fucking whatever. Dolby invented that shit, right? That's how you pimp out something if you want to squeeze the juice out of it, right? Andreas is too classy to give it a name. That's the more that I steep on this. Andreas is too classy to call it that. I mean, he might mention it like, you know, actively, you know, as a feature, like where he says what it does. And, but to give it a name, even though I had that idea, I think it's too cheap. I already bought one MPD8 from you. Do indeed. No, well, wait, Rashawn. Okay. No, you're right, Rashawn. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, brother. I'm getting you mixed up with Siddhartha. I got Sid in Seattle, and Sid is sitting on deciding he needs to go over and listen. And that's who I got you confused. So my bad. You already have an MPD8. Yeah, that's right, man. Good for you, man. You're rocking. Okay, so you can talk to me about amplifiers. So the Nat Audio is going to be, what are your speakers, Rashawn? Tell me what they are, and then I can give you a better match with those amplifiers. What are the speakers? So I know you got an MPD8 DAC, so all you need is amp and speakers. So tell me what speakers, and I'll tell you which amp will be the best match. Aloha, Mikey and Tribe. What's up, Dan? Good to see you, buddy. Patrick, thoughts on SPL M1000 amps? I don't have any thoughts on them. I'm guessing SPL is that old company like that used to make the stuff way back in the day. Are they pro audio? Yeah, I don't have any thoughts on them at all. You had an AA DAC and the MPD8 smoked it. Yeah, that's right. I remember now. Yeah, and you kept it for a while, right? You had them side by side for a while, and then it took a second. Arguably, okay, MPD8 smoked it. Arguably proportional to the price difference. It felt as if I also upgraded the speakers big time. Totally. I can't tell people how much the MPD8 does. It changed my whole trajectory of my hi-fi hobby. It stopped it. It made me feel like, holy shit, everything just got fixed. What the hell? And then I was totally relieved. I was like, oh my God, I'm so relieved that I'm not going to have to analyze audio the rest of my freaking life, because I thought the process of enjoying hi-fi was analyzing the songs, analyzing the sound all the time, going in, analyzing, how can I change it a little? Analyzing, how can I change it a little? Analyzing, how can I change? I thought that was just, you signed up for that. I thought that's part of the hobby. It's not. MPD8 taught me that, holy shit, I can cross the line with this thing. I can hang it up. This is like, this fixes everything. So, yeah, tell me the speakers, Rashawn, and we'll get to it. Eastern Oklahoma. Okay, Patrick. Well, we got somebody in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, with Fisher and Fishers, and he just bought an MPD8 and an MPSX streamer, and he's going to get amps sooner or later. He'll have a full Mikey rig soon enough. So I don't know how far Broken Arrow is from you. Hi, Mikey. What is your take on von Schweikert speakers? I see a lot of that starting to float around the net. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I've heard some of them that, let me see. And I get Vandersteen and von Schweikert mixed up. Von Schweikert. Yeah. You know, it's another brand that went through its pimp phase, right? It's like each time you go to the show, you just know who's paying to get the blowjob right now, these days, you know, and you can tell whatever speaker company is paying for the blowjob because they're in a lot of rooms and they're being pimped and everybody's talking. The signs are everywhere, you know, and I know exactly who it's going to be at Expona. At Capitol, and I'm not going to say the name, but you know, they're the new blowjob queen, you know, and the stuff is okay. It's not that great. It's okay. It's pretty good, but they need to market like that. So my take on von Schweikert is there's some good ones. They're really big ones. I've heard von Schweikert sound really good, and I've heard von Schweikert sound not really good. So I haven't formed they're great or they're not great, because I've heard them go both ways. So I think they really are what I could probably say, honestly, you know, with conviction, is they're very dependent upon the electronics and the setup, because I've heard them go both ways. The ones that I think I remember hearing really good at the shows had subwoofers out of phase at the back of the room or in a different spot, used to cancel out things. So to me, that's a speaker that needs a sub out of phase to do bass cancellation. But then I've heard him at a customer's house where he had I can't remember, V3i, V5. I can't remember what they're called, but they were, and he's got them in a room and he doesn't have subs with them. And they sounded, and they had active bottom half, and man, they sounded really good. Like at his place, and he put in a Roland 625 S2 from me. And he got an MPD8, and those things sounded so good, man. I mean, they were really, really beautiful sounding. So, you know, I don't know. I don't really have a take. I think they're cool. I like the guys from von Schweikert. They don't, you know, nothing about, them, you know, in my mind is dickish or weird. Like they seem cool to me. So that's kind of where I stand with them. Yeah. I don't really have that much. Andreas doesn't need marketing. He wants to not sell more. True confidence is quiet. Insecurity is loud. There you go, dude. Whose quote is that? Because that dude, that just happened to me the other day with speakers with Fisher and Fisher, man. Insecurity is loud, man. You can tell they're threatened by the Fishers, bro. They're getting loud about it. I'm like, ooh, they're scared. They're scared because they're getting they're all, at least one guy is. He was just so vociferous about it. I'm like, man, you're giving yourself away, brother. There's a reason you need to gloat like that. There's a reason you need to talk shit like that. There's a reason you need to slam shit, because you are insecure. It's funny you said he didn't need a name. I thought of that and posted. Then you said it. Good minds thinks alike. Yeah, totally. It's just you can't cheese it out, and that would cheese it out. Depends on where in Broken Arrow. Most likely 1.5 to 2 hours. Okay. So you'll have a guy right there. Ken, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Ideas for a shop setup system, as I do not sit and listen often. Like good tunes while I work on my stuff. What kind of shop? Like, I need to know. If it's like a wood shop, dude, you know, you want to put cheap stuff in because it's going to get dust everywhere on it. You know, if it's like a, or I mean, maybe you have a wicked vacuum system that you don't have any stuff floating around. Does it need to play loud? You know, you can get old receivers and old clips and put them in your shop and hang them on the walls and just crank that shit, you know, play rock and roll all day long, you know? So I sort of need to know the situation a little more. Does the MP8 AI have both XLR and RCA inputs? Yes, it does. And you can switch between them both. So it has 2 analog inputs, and you can go RCA, XLR, digital, and then all the digitals, which is pretty cool. The confidence quote is anonymous. Okay, that's cool. At Andrew, yes, it does. XLR and RCA, yeah. It's got both of them. All right, y'alls. I think it might be a good time to stop. 1 hour and 45 minutes. Oh, by the way, we watched this crazy Netflix series the other day called Monster. It's the Ed Gein story. My God, that guy was whack. He's total whack-tard. Like, oh my God. Intense movie, really. The dramatization, the way they did it was brilliant, masterful done. It's disturbing. So remember that. When are we getting a good Mikey video showing us the guts of expensive hi-fi? You know, so that's kind of like filler. Okay. I do it if I were to like if I were to do it for you right now because you requested it, it wouldn't be because I have anything that is, well, I mean, I've got a really cool Nat audio preamp right now that you've never seen anything like the insides of that thing. But they got weird. Last time I showed the inside of it, they're like, dude, what are you doing? You know, like you're showing how we make shit. They got a little upset. So I can ask them. That's I like to show the inside of shit that's impressive to me, you know, not just like the inside of shit. People were like, show us the inside of the AGD. I'm like, dude, it's going to be a little ass board with little teeny grains of rice surface mounted. Like it's not that cool. The cool shit to look at, if you want to look at it, is the old shit that has all the big capacitors and the through hole shit and all the cool transformers and weird tubes and shit. So Nat is like a magical factory inside their gear. Their stuff is whacked out. It's got so unique and different and wild stuff. But you know, so if I wanted to, there's got to be a reason why I go into them. And typically I'm going into them to show you like, how well built they are. But again, some things sound great and they don't need to be super impressive inside. So I can show you some, like I have some things that I'm selling that have really cool insides. Oh man, but I packed them up. Shit. Like the first sound, I've got a preamp that is so retarded. It's dual mono, total point to point. It's so retardedly OCD built. It's got, the volume goes all the way with a rod all the way to the back. So it's super short signal path for the volume control. There's no wire that goes up to the front. Typically when you have a volume control on the front with a knob and you have the whole switch is up on front, you have to run a wire all the way to the back, right? But that is a wire that you can get induced noise on. So if you're really badass, you put the switch at the back, super short signal path right on the board, and then you run a rod all the way to the front of the unit, and then you control it with a long ass rod and a knob. That's the badass way to do it, right? If you're going to be OCD. And this thing is nuts inside. If somebody wants a single-ended preamp, I got a First Sound Paramount Mark III that is freaking crazy. I'd sell it for $5,000. 2 power supplies, one for the left side, one for the right side. 2 big ass linear power supplies for this thing. With it's crazy. So anybody that wants a sick preamp, I've got a couple retarded preamps. Hey, Mikey, can you talk to Orinder versus Playback Designs? Incomparable. Orinder is like the A10 or whatever. Like those are things that are meant for convenience. They have DACs and streamers and everything on them. That's a whopper flopper. It's something that is inexpensive. And, I think those A10s are like what, $3,000, on the open market street price or whatever. Incomparable. No, there is nothing that can be compared to Playback Designs on any level because of their unique algorithm. But if we're just talking about like where do they place, Orinder is kind of entry level, or mid level, if you will, depending on which model. Playback Designs is at the peak level. 40 by 80 and work on my old cars and trucks. Oh shit. As well as equipment for my place with occasional woodworking. Okay, cool. Well, then you can put, dude, I would get, if it's an old, like a mechanic shop, dude, get some old clip speakers and a receiver, man, a Pioneer receiver, or a Marantz, and just go old vintage and just crank the shit. That stuff was die hard. You can put it in a shop. You talk to us about all your cars, right? Aren't you a Mopar guy? What is it? I'm trying to remember. I think you're a Mopar dude, if I remember correctly. What's good, Mikey and Tribe and Folk? Stoked to catch another live. I know it's ending right now, Jasper, in a second. I have known Mike for almost, here's Malcolm. I've known Mike for almost, Malcolm is our helicopter driver, our helicopter pilot. When we need to move across the, Malcolm, once we get really rich, bro, you can come be our in-house helo pilot, helicopter pilot. And we'll fly around and have fun. And man, I'll tell you what, man, this guy knows how to fly a whirly bird. And it's fucking the coolest shit. I'm telling you, going up in those things is fucking crazy. Malcolm does it every day. It's no big deal for him. He's like, whatever. This is just the thing. I'm like in it, like peering out the window, like this is the coolest shit I've ever been in, man. It's just so cool. Anyways, Malcolm says, I've known Mike for almost 5 years and he lives for customer service. Nothing is more important to him. We're all living the moment as he changes the culture of this industry. That's right. You guys are all coming along with, man. It's pretty exciting. It's totally cool. And I'm stoked to have the fam with me. All of y'all, man. You all guys make it great. I mean, Charles was here. If you guys ever met, like if we had a party, let's say a banquet, a show, or whatever, a get together, and we had all the 74, 85, 100 people, whatever, were watching this, and you guys all came, we would all be on the same vibration level. We would all see pretty much eye to eye. We would all be pretty chill and laid back. We would all be, enthusiastic and OCD about shit to some degree. You should see Malcolm's freaking cars. Malcolm is not only is a helicopter pilot, but Malcolm is an ex supercross racer. So Malcolm has been featured on ESPN doing the 30 freaking foot jumps on his CRF. Oh no, he's got a KTM. Excuse me. I didn't mean to diss you with the CRF. With his KTM, his barking pumpkin, flying through the freaking air, through the, up in the supercross. Yeah, Malcolm's a high energy dude. He likes to live high adventure. So, yeah, man, if we all got together, it would be, it's super cool. Anytime I'm with a posse at a show, come up and meet me and the gang, because you guys are all be like, man, this is the coolest group of guys, and gals if they're with us. So yeah, I sent you a text. I'm up for the MPD 6. Do you have one? Let me ask. I don't have one right now, but there might be one available. There you are. Okay. There's a look. I got a call from Mike. I got a text too at the same time. Mike must be watching too, man. There went another MPD 8 right now. So there's 3 MPD 8s now left until June of next year. So they're going, man. Don't hesitate, man. Because otherwise you'll have to wait. till June. It's not fair. It's not fair. So yeah, Mark. Okay. So yeah, text me. I'll get you squared away tomorrow. Let me see what the weight is on it. He might have one ready to go. What do I think of Borison? I'm not going to comment on Borison. If I thought if I liked it, I would carry it. Okay. I like the guys. I like Lars. I like or isn't that his name? The dude that's always there. I like the guys, man. The product I'm just not that into. I like Fisher better, and I carry Fisher. But I like the guys. There's some of the dealers, one in particular that I really don't like. And you know, that's all there is. You know, there's good people and there's not good people. That's the way I look at it kind of in this industry, right? There's the typical shysters, and then there's that are hustlers and just not cool. And then there's the cool people. And depending on the brand and who they're associated with tells you a lot about the brand and who they consort with. So brands can be like put in a black shadow depending on who carries them. And from my perspective, right, there's probably other people on the other side that think the brands that I carry put them in a black shadow because I'm Mikey or whatever. But I'll tell you one thing, I get the good shit. And the people that buy it know it. I mean, because they'll sit here and tell you the more I sell, you just saw 2 DACs sell right now, an MPD6 and MPD8 just sold, right? Just like that. You will and the people that buy will keep bringing them on. We'll just keep asking them, share your experience with us. And you know, Mike's a repeat buyer. Both of these guys are repeat buyers, you know. So anyways, have a great evening, y'all. Thanks, Mike. You bet. Brent, do you have any MPD8 AI in stock right now? No, I don't. And the AI that I sold Brent may be the last one, bro. I don't know that there's any AI. Europe takes those ones. Europe likes the AIs, and they kind of get them all. I'll need to ask. Do you want me to check? Let me know. I'm a Ford Mercury guy. Oh, the Merc, dude. Do you have a what's the Merc that I like? Well, you know what I love about Mercs is the lights. The tail lights go dit 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 dit. That was badass, man. They do that now, but that was cool back in the day. Cougar, man. Do you got a Cougar? The Cougars, man. Those were badass, dude. What else? There's a couple. Yeah, I think it's a Cougar, man. Yep, that's what it says. Cougars. Yeah. So for Lascalas and my old Kenwood receivers. There you go, buddy. You're set, dude. That's exactly what we're talking about. Cougars, no Marauders. Yeah, okay. Marauder was like a family car, no? Isn't that sort of, didn't you say you sort of like those, the family cars? Like not the hot rods necessarily? Anyways, I'm ready to pick a freaking convertible. If anybody wants to give me opinions on what they think is a great Grand Touring convertible, I already know which ones I'm looking at, but a Grand Touring convertible has got to be 2012 or newer. With, you know, over 400 horsepower. There's not many, but anyways, I've got to go. Anyways, thank you all for joining, and love you all. We will see you. I will be, let's see, Sunday I'll be on the road. I'll be with Steve, and we'll be riding. So I might check in from the road. But otherwise I will be in touch. Let me make sure I'm not missing any. Yep, 64 is your fave. And have a good one. Okay, cool. Yeah, so anyways, I will see you guys on Sunday for a quick one from my phone. I'll be out there. Stay tuned to see my shorts, and I'll do little short videos from my trip of us on our bikes, you know, so you can sort of ride along with us. Okay, y'all. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you showing up, and holler if I can be of service. All right, everybody, take care. See you.